Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. We're still talking about the budget, and we're tying it in with our regular analysis of what the commodities market is looking like. And I've got Ada Akonobi here with me in the studios. Ada, good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Good morning.
But just before we start this conversation, I'm very sure you are aware that inflation numbers are out. So let's quickly remind our viewers that the numbers as released by the National Bureau of Statistics just over an hour ago shows that Nigeria's headline inflation crept up 0.15% higher in the month of November to 18.48%, and that comes against October's level of 18.33%. The food sub-index came in at 17.19%, also higher. Last month, Nigeria's urban inflation hit 20.07% for the first time, while rural inflation index also climbed higher to 17.10%. So that's what we're going to be talking about, but mostly concentrating on the food index and the food sub-index, that is, and issues around domestic agric commodities. Ada, thank you so much again for joining me on the program. So, taking a look at the numbers, FGC actually predicted 18.4%,
yes,
around the same, as what we've seen today.
Yes. Well, we predicted that inflation was going to go up marginally to 18.4%, and the figures actually are quite right. We can see this is as a result of the consumer resistance, as a result of the seasonalities, and increase in food prices due to the festive season, and then high cost of utility and transports. So that's why we're seeing a marginal increase in inflation. But then compared to last year, the month-on-month increase last year isn't compared to what it is this year because of the economic headwinds that we're going to currently. And although this is a festive season, we're not seeing a significant increase in prices because consumers do not have that much money to purchase as they did last year.
But we still have an increase in the food sub-index. And listening to the president's budget speech yesterday, we still see that although Nigerians are beginning to favor more domestic products than imported products, we still see the food sub-index, as according to the Bureau of Statistics, coming in higher.
Well, we can link that to the currency volatility, and we can link that to as well supply shocks in some of our staple food items and imported food items as well. So that is why we're seeing an increase. But then going into next year, we would see a decline in month-on-month inflation because the base year effect will taper out. But I guess this is where this is the height of it. So,
listening to the president's speech again yesterday, talking about the agriculture sector, what did you think? Did you look at it as if, now more than ever, they're going to be focusing on those key value chains to try to boost agriculture?
Well, the president has emphasized on the fact that he needs to strengthen the agriculture sector and increase production in major staples like wheat, soya, sugar, and millet, and all of that. And there's going to be there's going to be a 60 billion naira intervention program, and it's going to comprise of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, organized private sector, commercial banks, and some other relevant industries. So he has strong interest in making sure that we don't depend, we kind of put less pressure on our exchange rates to import food items and focus on local content and exporting to other countries.
So again, it seems as if funding will no longer be like a major issue, because look at it, you have that 60 billion naira coming in from the 2017 budget. You also have some money set aside by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and we also have the Bank of Industry's continued intervention in the agriculture sector.
Well, however, the budget allocation to agriculture sector is actually at its highest. It's the highest in so many years, about 92 billion naira. So, well, that's good, and we can see that we don't want to depend so much on oil anymore. We have to depend on other sectors.
So that's 92 billion naira plus 60 billion naira intervention fund.
Exactly. So 92 billion naira plus about 600 billion naira. Then we have some other international agencies as well, organizations coming in and investing in the agriculture sector. So this is to incorporate it in the 3-year plan for us to reach self-sufficiency. And this is a work in progress, and we're seeing that in the production of local rice in major producing states like Ebonyi State, Kebbi. So it is very good news. So
what other key issues stand out for you?
Well, he's increased the funding to the militants in the Niger Delta region. So I think the amnesty program is up by 225%. So hopefully this should kind of taper down the militant activities, and we should get our production back up to our benchmark target of 2.2%, 2.2 million barrels per day. In the oil, in the global space, we're seeing oil prices are about $55 per barrel, and our budget benchmark for 2017 is about 42.5 barrels. So this is about 27% higher than what it is in the global space. So we have to be very strategic, focus on the development in the Niger Delta region, get our production back up to 2.2%, and plus our take advantage of oil prices of the global space, and we can build back our revenues.
And don't forget that we're taking money from the oil market to put into the other key sectors of the economy, including agriculture.
Exactly. So I mean, I think stability in the Niger Delta region is key for now, so we can use that funds to spread across other sectors that need it the most.
What about the exchange rate? You know that most of at least the company, the FMCGs that you track on in your report, still have to import some of their products, and we're having exchange rate at 305 naira.
Yes.
So effectively, that's what even though that's what we've seen play out at the interbank foreign exchange market for quite some days now, 305 naira 50 kobo, it's official, and that's what we're going to be using to trade, at least with regards to what the budget says.
Well, if everything goes as planned, we may see the currency appreciate in 2017 or 2018. Like we rightfully said, this is mainly dependent on our oil production and taking advantage of the oil prices in the international market. And again, if we kind of cut down on how much we import and focus on local content, we can see that we're going to put less pressure on importing most of our commodities and focusing on what we have, and we'll reduce the pressure on the currency and would have that trickle across to other producers.
So in the coming days, what do you expect to play out? At least we'll just have very, very few number of days to the end of 2016. 2017 is already around the corner, even though the budget will not begin to be implemented until after 2016 budget has been fully implemented, which is by May next year.
Well, the president's speech is kind of a sigh of relief to international investors that are watching as well. It seems that we're trying to align the policies, and we're trying to steer Nigeria away from a recession. So that is good, because we could see some more foreign capital inflows trickle in, because we're trying to regain confidence in the system, and regaining investor confidence is essential, and regaining and making the business environment very conducive to is essential for more investment inflows into the country. So that is very good. But for now, and again, he plans to invest heavily in infrastructure, because that's a major issue as well, transporting commodities from one point to another, and he needs he's also invested heavily in railway, so that is to put less pressure on road transport. So that is very good. So in the very long term, that will play out positively. But for now, bringing it back to commodity prices and staple food items, the festive Christmas is next week, and we're seeing just marginal gains in prices, although some traders are taking advantage of the Christmas season for commodities like frozen food items or perishables. But for now, other commodities that have import content are relatively flat.
Agric Commodities research analyst with economic research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you.